the personal history versus the collective history. The personal history is what we experience personally, like our feelings, our thoughts, behind the actual action. It's like the intention. It's the energetic signature. And the energetic signature is the thing that really carries. Then there could be, rewriting of the history that when people listen into the rewriting of the history, it's like it's degrees of separation from the truth. And when you're living by the degrees of separation from the truth, you're 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 disassociated. You're not living within yourself. So that's the whole issue and problem with the education system. It's interpretations of the real experience that only come from the individual. And I got to experience a little bit of that when I was I was like 14 years old, and I was working as a volunteer in the hospital as a candy striper. And I was working in this Catholic hospital that was grossly understaffed. So I was on the intensive care ward where a lot of the elderly people were, intensive care. And the one woman was like the baby of the family, who was telling me stories that her older brother told her of fighting in the Civil War. And that was like amazing to hear these personal stories, personal experience of a history that I was reading in like what third, fourth hand by, being written in these history books in school. So I could I could get a more accurate history from the personal stories. Hi, Richard. Thank you for inviting your fans. And then that made me, understand more about reality and truth. What is truth and reality? People go out and they look for it in books, and they look for it in like mentors, and they look for it in, I don't know, lots of different things. Traveling, you can look in different religions for truth and philosophies and belief systems. And you find the truth through that external journey by going on the internal journey of really paying attention to your experience, your feelings, your thoughts, what's coming to you, what this religion stimulates in you, right? And that's the truth. So the truth really lies within the individual. And what's written in the books outside can be an individual's truth, but they should only stimulate your own individual truth. So, as I was just talking about, the life, like reading the book Siddhartha, which is the life of Buddha, and then of the life of Yeshua, who I've read about in many, many books, that learning about their lives, learning about the life of Buddha, learning about the life of Yeshua, is just like they're just stimulants for learning the truth that's within me as I connect to those things. And even as Priscilla was talking about the experience of studying Wiccan, which is the pagan, it's the earth religion, really religion of the earth, right? Of the relationship between the moon and the earth. And astrology is then also the religion of the relationship of the earth with the other planets and stars in the universe. These are all different aspects of life, truth, what is, and how we relate to them personally is of the truth that we need to know as we go in this journey through this life, which is an internal journey with many external stimuli. So, in my chapter in the first book, Being, the chapter on humanity, it says if you accept the premise that this book has, that your experience is truth, then if you want to look at humanity, there are many truths,
Right.
but they all are harmonious with each other, even though they are unique. And when we take the concept or the idea or the mindset that if
Right.
something is true, then everything else around it's got to be false, then we're really distorted. We've flipped upside down. We just upset the apple cart, because
Right.
the thing is that they're all truths. And 2020, the 2020 vision, was an exaggeration of how we've been living in this distorted perspective, that if one thing is true, then everything else has to be false. If one thing's right, everything else has to be wrong. And the fighting and the conflict that went on around that, under that philosophy, that perspective, and how it has brought us into such misery and imprisonment. And when we come to realize and understand that it's all truths, and what's important is to just focus on our own inner journey, our own inner truth of it, our own experience, which is expanding our awareness of our truth. So I'll continue to read this piece in my book, which was Courage and Vulnerability with Non-Judgment, that the old world fought by name-calling, giving diagnosis, punishing, and locking up these souls. And where is the love in the name-calling and belittlement?